The computer diet, the last 4 days?
The one before that. Yeah. So usually after that happens, then I watch it, and nothing happens, and then I forget about it, and then that's you're not looking.
Yeah, I can tell you which one to better than two. Good evening. 7 o'clock, so welcome to this regular town board meeting. Fire exits are out the door and to the left. Should they be black, out the door to the right. If it's necessary, there's an AED located on the wall across the hall. Everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. A moment of silence for deceased residents of the town of Hamlin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Pastor, would you lead us in an invocation, please?
Sure, thank you. Good evening. I like to open with as you know, I like to share some scriptures. Isaiah 26, verse 3 says, "You will keep them in perfect peace whose minds are stayed on you because they trust in you." And in James chapter 1, verse 5, it says, if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all people liberally and doesn't withhold anything. So that's my two prayers, that there'll be peace in our hearts and there'll be grace and wisdom in all the decisions that are made, not just today, but for you all every month and every meeting. So Father, we are grateful for this time to be together. And Lord, we pray that you would bring peace to our hearts, bring strength, bring wisdom. Lord, I pray that you would give that wisdom and insight as this group of men and women who serve us so faithfully has to make decisions. Lord, I pray that you bless them. I pray that open ears will be here for every one of us, and that you'd use this meeting just to continue to serve your people in Hamlin. Thank you for this time in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Baxter.
Here.
Yeager.
Here.
Boko. Here. Hurlbut.
Here.
Peters.
Here. We now come to the public forum portion of the meeting. This is the portion of the meeting where the public gets to address the board. There's an awful lot of people here tonight, so we're going to try to adhere to our rules. They're published on the wall there and over here. General guidelines. When we ask that you fill out a sheet so that we know who's going to speak. If you would please step up, say your name, address. If you're with an agency or organization, let us know what that is. Please address your comments to the board as a whole, not one person individually. If you want your comments recorded verbatim in the town board meeting minutes, you will have to provide a copy of those comments to the town clerk. We try to keep this as a civil discussion. We don't want, that's all we're doing here is talking. So let's try to treat everybody with respect. I'm going to go with since I know there's a lot of people who want to talk on one particular issue, I'm going to go with the one person who wants to talk about something else so that they may be done with what they want to say. If they want to stay, they can stay. If not, that's fine. Jerry Hutchison.
My name is Jerry Hutchison. I live at 1701 right over here. I found out about a week and a half ago, I talked with Mike, the refuse, yard refuse and dump was closed. And it is an importance to Hamlin, to the residents, especially in the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years with all the ash trees. I've actually donated 41 so far, some of them 80 feet tall. Mike knows the ones I've had. The one by the shed, it was rotted terribly in the middle, but I appreciate working with you there. It did good. I came up with some ideas this last week, and I understand the cost of grinding. I don't understand everything, I'm not saying that, but I think we could, sometimes going back when I was a kid, we had a dump, and you would buy a permit for a year, and you would have to show the permit each time. And I'm just saying, if we leave it gated, like you have at the parks, the gates, for your larger trucks, because you keep the stone down there and other stuff. But residential permits, somewhere between 25 and 50 a year. I mean, the grinding costs big money, so we need something to help. As far as contractors, I mean, I'm just saying, like something like a $50 a load or a visit. I mean, quite frankly, they're going to pass the cost on to the people they're cutting for. And maybe there could be where they pay so much in advance and they get a card and we'll have someone manning it. And I'm suggesting some volunteers. Maybe we could not. And if I'm suggesting volunteers, I'm saying I will volunteer. Because I'm suggesting we have open on Wednesdays, 9 to 12. Retirees like myself, during the week is kind of nice. And also Saturdays, maybe 10 to 2. If we need more hours, fine. If fewer hours is fine too. And I think we could try to, come up with a better published policies for there, because I know when I'm dumping stuff off my truck, I'm always trying to throw it up on the pile, and I've seen people come in and, quite frankly, I mean, I'd like to say all Hamlin residents are great people, but I mean, sometimes they're dumping it 20 yards off the pile, and it's hard to maneuver around there then. But I came up with some stuff. I'd like to give Mike a copy if you wouldn't mind. Just some ideas. I think it's, the town provides this for us. It's a benefit to the residents. I'd like to see it reopen as soon as possible, after some thought is put into, let's get it under control. I've been here 30 years. Probably the first 15, there was never a problem, but we didn't have the ash trees dying like they have been, and they're becoming, it's expensive for some people, and if you see an ash tree leaning like this, it's not going to be leaning like that long. It's going to be like that before too long. So I think some place to be able to put the debris is important, and that's really it. And like I said, again, Mike, thanks very much for working with me there. I had 11 taken down last Tuesday, and we were able to work it out. Again, thank you, and that's all I have to say.
Certainly, we have spoken about this quite in depth. Jerry's been one of the people that's been in the office with actually offering ideas, and he's certainly been helpful. I do take issue with charging our residents. Grinding the brush was never an issue money-wise for our residents. But if you go on Parma's community website, their Facebook page, you'll find Parma residents telling other Parma residents to come to Hamlin because we're open, and they're not. That's the issue. I don't want to begin to charge our residents. And the issue with charging contractors, I don't think you can charge enough to offset what it's costing, is my concern with charging them. They can go, there is another town that is wide open to contractors because they're getting paid for their chips. They're being ground for free and they're being paid for what they take off the property because they generate so much. They're open, there's dumps around that are open that they can pay and go to. So it's kind of my concern with starting a permit type of thing for contractors.
And we are working to get it back open as quickly as possible. We've had to shut it down because of the abuse. We're working on getting it fenced off right now. That's part of tonight's town board resolutions, is to put a fence up around the thing so that we can control who goes in and out. And we're working on the details of how to make sure that it's strictly residents and not contractor debris on people that actually live in our town that are serving.
When I was talking with Mike, I thought you'd mentioned that you were budgeting like 40,000 for grinding.
No, that's what they wanted to charge us last year to get rid of last year's debris.
Okay.
So that's what we're trying to get that, because we can't do that.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what-
Like I said,
Yeah.
I didn't understand everything. I was trying to come up with resolutions, but I mean,
Yes.
quite seriously, $25 permit for dumping for residents is not an astronomical charge. And it could, I mean, there's always going to be some things, bumps in the road that are going to come up, and it's going to cost the taxpayers, because you'll have to do it, your department, to clean up whatever might happen. It's not an overwhelming number, I think, for that.
No, we'll take
But
that in.
it's a thought. I'm
Yeah.
just put it out there. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, now in no particular order, do you have any other people that wish to speak at this point? Or just, I have 3 sheets.
Gave you all those that I have.
Actually, I have 2 sheets for this topic. Well, we can start with Amber Gallo.
I'd like to let Lindsay and Jesse go first.
Okay. Is this one copy, or is this?
It's a lot of pages, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's gonna be the copy of signatures and then comments people have left on the petition as well. And we can go into further detail of that, but.
All right, so my name's Jessie, and this is Lindsay, my sister. We are Kaz White's cousin. I'm sure you heard of his passing a couple years ago. This is his family. His parents are sitting right there. We got notification that the memorial down at Westfall needs to be removed as of Monday, with this Saturday coming up as his 2-year anniversary of his passing. These are his pictures of him fishing at Westfall and then our memorial as well. All right. Okay, so September 25th, 2019 is a day that we'll never forget. The day we got the call that no one ever wanted to expect or get. He is gone, Kaz is gone. Kaz lost his life in a tragic automobile accident, and in an instant, our lives were changed forever. Kaz, a name that you heard and would instantly smile. He was truly one of a kind. If you were lucky enough to know or meet him, you would never forget him. The most genuine, kind-hearted, loving soul, and was known for giving some of the biggest and best bear hugs around. He has touched the lives of more people than we have ever even knew. So many that we call it our Kaz Love family. Kaz grew up in Hamlin and dedicated many years of his free time to volunteer for the community. He coached the Hamlin Hornets football team, spent a lot of his free time helping his dad at his auto shop, just to name a few. He was more than just a local, but he was a valued member of the community and a friend to all. He was a true friend and a loyal one at that. He would drop anything he was doing to help family, friends, and even an absolute stranger in times of need, no questions asked. Kaz cherished his family and friends and would give the shirt off his back, and he literally has at times. If someone was stuck on the side of the road, he'd stop to see if they needed help. All he ever wanted to do was make people laugh, and he sure did. He had such an infectious smile and laugh. He brought a different kind of light and laughter into our lives that can never ever be replaced. I'm sure you have seen the town all around with our Kaz Love support, from our purple clothing to keychains to car decals and so much more. Our Kaz family is now our family. The town of Hamlin has reached out to the parents of Kaz that informed them that the memorial we've had a part in creating must be removed by Monday, September 27th. His memorial has been established for 2 years. The town has received complaints that were not fully disclosed with us. They kindly asked us to remove the memorial ourselves, or that they would have to do it for us. We feel that this memorial is doing no harm, but instead bringing so much love and strength to the community, and we ask that the memorial at Westfall stays there.
When the news of his passing got out, the community rallied together to make his memory and name live on. Kaz was an incredible fisherman whose love of fishing was like no other. He grew up in ponds and creeks, rivers and lakes, the first to jump in the water without hesitation. Westfall Drive being a place he called his second home. He didn't just go there to catch and release. He cleaned up the area daily of debris, cans and bottles, fishing line, and anything else that could harm wildlife. At one point, he left a garbage can down there to reduce pollution and would take care of that as well. He cared about wildlife and the outdoors. Westfall became his memorial spot after his passing. We knew this was the perfect spot. His mom, as do so many others, go there often to clear their head and to talk to him, to feel his warmth from all the love and sentiments people leave to be cherished. Reason being is that so many people had memories and adventures with him there. The countless hours fishing, kayaking, wading, and boat rides. This was a place we needed because we can gather there. We can feel his presence. We can see memories and feel the overwhelming love. It's one spot that we can go to remember him by who he was and not the tragedy that happened.
We have abided by the rules set to us by the town, and we will continue to do so. We keep that spot clean and well maintained all year round. We removed everything off the tree when asked when it first was put up. The local news had even reached out to us to do a story on Kaz and his memorial. He is a local legend, and we can't handle another loss, and I'm sure many of you know of Kaz. Hamlin is such a beautiful place to live and visit, as we all know. Removing this memorial means that we won't have a place to cherish his memories that we grew up with. It is more than just a public plot of land. This special plot of land fills the hearts of so many in times of need. The removal of Kaz's memorial realistically will not discourage people from still visiting the spot, but it will only have a detrimental effect on an already grieving family and the community. We have come here today to ask with the most sincerest heart to please help us keep this memorial. It has done no harm to the public. If there are complaints that have not been disclosed with us, I feel we do deserve to hear those complaints. It's a beautiful space that is treasured and loved and well maintained. There's a countless number of people that visit Westfall that have no association with the memorial, so how do we even know those complaints are actually due to the memorial?
And I just want to add that we took it upon ourselves in honor of the family and Kaz to start this petition, because to most people, yes, we understand that this spot and what we have created might just come as another memorial on the side of the road. Another person lost their life young, tragically. But to us, it's become way more than that. It's more than just a memorial, and it's a place that so many can go and do go and visit, and it's more than just this community. It reaches far beyond that, and it's touched the lives of so many, and it means the world to all of us, friends, family, and the community itself. And with this petition, we just wanted to
we wanted to give an idea of just how many people Kaz knew. After his passing, when we did gather down there, we decided that was the right spot because he was down there all the time. We didn't know he knew that many people. There was a lot of people there, and you know, a lot of people still do get together in his memory and in his honor. You know, I feel no parent should have to bury their child, and they're the best parents that I've ever met. They pretty much raised my sisters and I. Chip owns the shop across the street. He's always helping the public. He doesn't have a day off ever. He works from sunup to sundown. These guys are all his family members too, and they volunteer their time to keep that shop going because that's what they have, because Kaz wanted that place to keep going, and we will keep it going. So the petition is more or less to show you how much support we have, how many people love the Kaz Love community,
and what the memorial means to not only us, but to them as well. And again, we started this morning, and already in less than 24 hours,
we have 900 and counting
signatures, over close to 2,000 shares.
Over $300 raised through the change.org
and the
website.
goal, like the signature goal was to at least have
200. So I feel like we surpassed that. The main thing that when I heard about this news, and Chip called us late at night on, was it Sunday or Monday? I was at work, and Chip called her to let her know. And I know that we've repeated ourselves a lot, but that spot, there's houses, across the creek, they have no issues. There's a house there and there's a house there. We go there twice a year to get together, sing him happy birthday, talk about his passing, get together as a family. Deb goes there every single night to talk to her son. And that is, whether people believe in that spiritually, that's all she has left of him. And she needs this. We really need this. I wasn't gonna cry, but it's just, when I look at them, they are the best people that I've ever met. They need this. They can't face another loss. They can't go on much longer dealing with a loss like that and then losing something like that.
I would also just like to add that even if we can't keep the memorial as a whole, if that's not an option, and if it's violating code or whatever the issues may be, we just ask that you're willing to work with us, and we'd be more than willing to try to compromise and figure out something that might work for all of us, the neighbors, the community, the town, the street that it's located, whether it be that memorial stay the same, or if we can collect donations to put a plaque on the tree, or a memorial bench there, or even name that area, put a sign up as Kaz's memorial fishing spot or something like that. Just something that we could still go there to see and honor and cherish his memory and legacy.
Well, first and foremost, the loss of a child is an incredible loss. No one should have to bear that burden. And all of us here have children. And we all know that is an incredible loss, and we feel for the families. Unfortunately, the situation puts us in a no-win situation. I mean, we have few complaints from neighbors that live there. We don't know who's in charge of this thing. It just kind of comes and goes and up and down. Cheryl goes over and speaks to you because you're the father, and you're the only person we know that really kind of has in touch with the whole thing. Most of the property, other than what sits there on the flat, is private property. You understand that where he was fishing and all that is not public property. And I'm just putting it out there as facts, okay? I'm not making any judgment, just so that everybody's aware of where we are. We're stuck in a bad spot here, because nobody wants to say you can't have a memorial or do this, but we also have to, as a town, have to look out for the people that own the property there. So we're in a tough spot. I think some of the issue is, yes, that once or twice a year when everyone gathers down there and they build up the memorial to the size that it was, and that a day or two goes by and it stays there, and paper, balloons, whatever, start blowing around, whatever happens. And people everybody's down there celebrating a life, and I understand that, believe me. That's what our family does, is we celebrate the life. We don't have a downer service. But the tearing up the road, the burnouts, all that stuff, it's all great, but it's really not appropriate to be there, okay? And I'm just, believe me, I don't want to be saying any of this stuff either. Nobody wants to. But we don't have anybody to contact to say, okay, if there's one or two little things here, that's fine. But if it gets out of control, we have this person to say, hey, it needs to scale down a little bit. Let's try to be considerate of everybody involved here. And nobody's going to say don't gather there. At this point, I'm not even sure, we were talking about this in the past, whether that's actually a park or whether it was converted to parklands or if it's still just a road right away. I mean, that's the old road that went over to Creekview before it was cut off for Westfall that comes straight up to North Hamlin Road. So, and unfortunately by state law, you can't put things in the road right away. I'm just telling you the way things are, okay? Like I said, I'm not trying to be judgmental either way, but we're in a no-win situation. We can't either way. We are either going to piss off the residents that live there, or we're going to piss all you people off. I mean, we're going to try to come up with a compromise or something we can work with, but there's got to be somebody that's going to be the person that's going to be the go-to person that's going to say, hey, and not just for us, but to police your own people. You guys all, and I got kids too, young, not young, but that person is also going to have to turn around to your folks and say, hey, this is as far as we can go. We need to keep it in some sort of basket, so that we can maintain some sort of back and forth here. Because, like I said, nobody wants to be in this situation. It's tough for us because I understand the significance of the spot. But generally speaking, with somebody on our side of highway people and code enforcement people, most of the time these memorials are at the site of where the accident took place. To let people know that this is where this happened and this can happen to you in the future. I mean, one of the biggest ones around, Matthew Fitt, friends of ours, personal friends of ours. She lost her son there. At that bridge. That's where their stuff is at that bridge. They paint that bridge every year. It gets painted over, it gets taken care of by the state to remind people that that is a bad spot. Try to keep things, in your mind when you're coming down Redmond Road right there. So, like I said, it's just we're in a bad spot. We're trying to take your considerations and listen to them. And we're probably not going to make any decision tonight. I would ask that whoever's sort of the default, de facto leader of the group take care of the stuff that's going to blow around and not be basically littering. I know it's sacrosanct to you guys, but once it gets wet and the rains come and the winds blow and it blows off someplace else, it turns into litter. And I'm not trying to judge, but that's what ends up happening here. Okay, so we'll be talking as to what we can do in the future, but for short term, we need to get some of this stuff taken out of there because it is on town property, and it's a little bit more than what is a plaque or a memorial, and nobody's saying don't go down there. We can't, it is still public property. There's a sign there. We've got the sign is up. What the behavior is expected there and all that, but it can't continue the way it did over the weekend. That's just, if you want to have a party, if you want to have a memorial, that's fine. If you want to drive by the site, that's fine. We can't have anybody, not you, I don't mean you, I'm saying you in generic terms, tearing up the road, burning out, doing burnouts, all that. That's just not appropriate. It's not a drag strip. That's not the place for that.
You said over the weekend, did it just happen again? Because
Well, I don't know, I'm lost track of dates, but it was very recent, yes.
Okay. Back 2 years ago when that did happen, we did address that and we told the people to leave that we're doing that because we did not want to lose that spot. As far as going to the accident site, I don't think any of us have gone to that accident site because of how bad that was. He left dinner to go home, called his mom, said, "I love you, I'll see you in the morning, I have to go to work." Took a turn on his motorcycle in the dark, and that was it. So it's really hard to.
I understand all that. I'm not saying that's what you have to do.
Right, but I just wanted you to understand why we don't go there, because we want to remember him for being happy and
for who
where
he
that
was.
spot was.
Well, and I'm just pointing out that this is what
Right.
people on this side, a lot of us see is going on. I mean, there's other memorials. There's one right up outside of town here where there's a bicycle on the side of the road. That's on private property. Farmer's okay with it. He says he can leave it there. It's not in the road right away because the state will pull it out. So, that's, I mean, this is where we're at. We're trying to be decent about this, but we also have to have some on the other side too.
I would like just to add, on the behalf of Kaz's parents and family, we would just like to say that we are willing to scale back on what is there in order to be able to still have something there. If that's something that were to work and pick up, say, like after like birthday balloons and stuff like that, and only keep things that aren't harmful to surrounding areas and the environment itself. And also, there's no way of telling that those burnouts being done are from our people, are from the Kaz community, our family and our friends. Are some of them? Yes, maybe, but there's no proof to pinpoint every single one that's from us. But we're willing to, and I talked with Chip and both Deb to make a plea with our people for out of respect to the community, the neighbors, the memory of Kaz, and for the family, in order us to still have something there, to refrain from doing that. And I would like to also point out that Kaz was a very respectable person, and in return, people tend to be very respectful towards Deb and Chip's wishes and wants. I will just point out, yes, burnouts happened 2 years ago when we first gathered down there, when everything happened, and
But our heads weren't even there, and it wasn't the immediate family that did that. And when that started, we did put an end to it, and those people left.
Well, that.
So I just want to apologize on behalf of that.
We're kind of talking in circles, and I understand that. We're not here to argue the point or whatever, okay? I'm not here to try a case or say it was your people. Coincidence, maybe, but when there's a gathering there for this memorial and then this activity happens,
Right.
Whether it's your people or somebody just hanging on and saying this is a great opportunity to do this, that's, I can't say. But the timing is such that it kind of leans that way.
Right.
Okay? So, and all I'm saying is we need to have somebody that's, if we're gonna go forward and even leave a small plaque there, we need to have somebody that can be a liaison between the town and the family and the people that are gonna be there and utilizing it. And as a mother, I understand, you wanna go down there every day, that's fine. Nobody's saying don't do that. We're not at all saying that. That's not our intention here. We're trying to balance the needs of the people that actually live there too. And I know it's only a couple times a year, but if it was your house and that this was going on next to, you might, I'm not saying you would or wouldn't, but some people will.
I was just going to bring up how the funeral we had in Greece, and we asked them not to respect.
We're trying to balance the
and
two out here. That's all. So.
We have asked people not to do that, so we don't really know who's doing it. But to us, it's more of a peaceful. It's not like that. We're not playing that card. It's more of a peaceful. I've been down there, and people have come up to me and said, you know what, we didn't know him and we don't know you guys, but there's just so much love when we walk down here, like we just have to stop and pay our respects and, you know, so when I'm there, it's very quiet and it's very silent and you're dealing, you know, with other people there, so.
And like I said, nobody's saying don't.
No, and I know that. I know what you're saying. I agree.
So that's where we're at. We're not gonna make a decision tonight. Like I said, whoever's roughly in charge of the display down there, we need to get some of that out of there. I appreciate the thought, I really do. I know, I'm not gonna go into big long personal stories, but I appreciate what's going on. But it can't stay there, at least in that form. It just can't.
If we downsize it,
Yeah.
take it outside.
For the time being.
So if we
We'll
have-
talk about it and see what's going forward. I mean, I don't know, if Amber, do you want to say anything else or add anything to the, because you're the other person who wanted to speak publicly, so if you want to take the opportunity to
So I had something typed out, but they have a lot of words and a very good way with the words, so kind of speak from my head a little bit. I was gonna say pretty much a lot of the stuff they said, but I'm gonna take what I wrote down that they didn't say. I'm willing to do anything to keep that going. I don't care if I have to get heavy-duty garbage cans, go down there and organize cleanups every week. I don't care. I will do whatever it takes for this wonderful family to be able to visit the spot where they feel closest to their loved one. Anything.
Okay.
I would go there every day for 2 hours a day just to clean up and walk down the water, clean up every little piece of garbage. And I sincerely mean that.
Okay, well, as I said, we need somebody that wants to be kind of the go-to person so that it can go both ways, so the communication can go both ways between the town and the families. And like I said, and somebody that won't be afraid to turn around, you know, everybody's real great about talking to town and telling us what we need to do, but they also got to be able to turn around and look at the other way.
No,
So this
I
is what you need to do also.
I agree.
And just being honest about it.
I agree 100%. I'm gonna, speak on a personal basis regarding our CAS events. After CAS passed away, we held a motorsports event. My father runs a motorsports park in Waterport, New York, Lake Alice Mud Bogs. We held an event. There was a lot of people there. Tons I didn't know. They didn't have to respect my property. They didn't have to. Well, morally they should, but they don't know me. What do they care? Not 1 ounce of disrespect. And the last time we gathered there for his birthday, it was peaceful. It was cleared out fast. We sang happy birthday. All of us who have children, we bring our children there. It's not a big, my word would usually be a, crap show, but in other words, but it wasn't like that. And we made it very clear. I have a megaphone. I made it very clear we are not making a big mess of this place. We walked around with a garbage bag afterwards, picked up. That's what we do. Why would we disrespect somewhere that means so much to us? And I know that you guys have a job, and I know that, it's the neighborly thing. I get it. I really do. I understand. But we, on our end, with our people, this is not even, there's about 40 times this of our people. They're going to go down there regardless. And on our end, we're going to make sure that it stays cleaned up and up to par with the standards. As much as we have already, but we'll go over the top. I will go down there as much as I can. I'll go down there every day if I have to. I'm sure many other people would. And that's really all I have to say.
All right, I appreciate it. And as I say, that's going to be a lot of what's going to need to happen here is some communication between the town.
No, I agree.
And the people involved. And, if there is going to be a gathering for an anniversary or a birthday, we need, we don't keep track of everybody's birthday. I'm sorry.
That's
Personal, but we need to know about this stuff. It would help us too. We're not blindsided by complaints coming in and, we called the sheriffs and blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is what just happened, okay?
so they've called the sheriffs?
Yep, this is what just happened, so,
Well, 2 years ago?
no. Not 2 years ago. Cheryl, you
Were they there? I don't know.
what date was it?
I didn't see any police there.
I think it was the day of his birthday.
There was no police down there. There was not even any, I'm just speaking from that, and I know,
Okay, well, maybe it was somebody later. I know the sheriffs were called. They were
I cleaned up there I was there cleaning up until after midnight.
I'm just telling you what they told
No,
us.
no, I'm just saying, but that's all.
In other words, if we know, it also would help us in the future.
No, I agree.
So when the
And
neighbors call, we say, yes, they're gonna be here. We have an idea what's going on. They're gonna be respectful. They pledge to be respectful, blah, 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 all that good stuff.
I have one more comment. Now I'm a little confused because I thought that was public property. I thought that was a public fishing spot.
It is not.
I was not aware of that.
Okay, well, for everyone's edification, the town only owns the flat. Anything beyond the edge is private property,
Okay. Well,
all the way around that.
no, that makes more.
And we fielded complaints long before this came up. For my tenure of 8 years, we've had complaints of people there fishing, leaving garbage, yada, yada, nothing to do with you guys.
Well-
But this is an ongoing, and this is where the other part of this comes in. This has been an ongoing problem for many years, and you put this on top of that with these neighbors that are already having their property violated over and over again. It's that incremental, all of a sudden, this is one, and they can point to you guys because you're a big group.
I'm not gonna deny that now.
Well, I'm just saying, that's what happens. The one person down there that leaves a mess, they can't find him or he takes off or whatever. But when you got a group of people down there, we can say, this is the cause. Well, I understand it probably isn't the entire cause, but you build up frustration in the neighbors over many, many years of people trespassing and doing stuff, and then add this on top of it.
Right, well-
That's why I say communication with the town will be very helpful, so we know, and if somebody can step up and give, for the time being, give Cheryl a name so we have somebody to contact, and for the time being, take care of some of this stuff, and anything that's gonna blow around, scale it back for now. Let's do that, and we'll see what we can do. We'll look at what the laws are and so forth, and see what we can do.
Okay.
That's the compromise we can do at this point.
No, I know. And I think that's been touched base already about 20 times, but I do have 2 other things. As far as the flat, I know we had talked, what was that?
The flat's town property?
Yes, so.
It's an old road right away. I don't know that it has ever been converted to even to parkland. We put the sign up there to try to keep things under control, but I'd have to research back, and it goes back a long way, to see if that was actually turned over to parks land, or it's still just a piece of road right away. I mean, if it's road right away and things get carried away, we'll just block it off. I mean, we have to protect everybody involved here, so we'll just block it off, let it grow up, and that'll be that. I mean, we don't want to do that. I'm not saying that's what we want to do, but there has to be some give and take here, so.
Well, another thing is I've never noticed any posted signs down below where the creek runs through. Never. Fished there quite a bit. Probably not gonna now for, until this gets figured out. But I've never noticed a posted sign, and have any of you?
There's just one sign when you pull in, I can't remember what it says, but it's not a posted sign.
Probably the sign that he was speaking of, I'm thinking.
Yeah, probably.
And
I can't speak to what people do for their own.
right, no, but that's all I'm saying. And one more thing, and I'll sit down. As far as the flat, and I know this isn't going to get figured out right away. I'm understanding this is quite complicated, but one thing that some friends, actually, it was going to be something we were going to come to the town about, was putting a memorial picnic table in that patch of grass. And, you know, if that's something we can do, if we have to and we have no other choice but to take that stuff down, or most of it, everyone can enjoy that. It be somewhere that Deb and Chip can sit, everyone can sit, you know, late at night you go there. I go there on, you know, late night after work and I'll just sit down, you know, right in front of the memorial. So, you know, going forward, if this gets anywhere, that's something I would like to pursue if it's possible for everyone to enjoy, not just us. It's not going to be like, you know, the fishermen go down there if they have permission, whatever the case may be. Something for everyone to enjoy.
You'll take it into consideration. I can't tell you what we're going to
I am aware of that. I'm just putting it out there. So I'm going to sit down now because I'm not good with my words. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to address the board?
I do just have another question. After tonight's meeting, and you guys have obviously listened to all of us and everything that we have to say, when would we be able to follow up? Like, when would you guys be able to come to a decision, or when would you know of a possible decision?
Well, we got to do some research. It'll probably be a meeting or two.
Okay.
You know, but as I say, in the meantime, if we can get rid of a lot of the extra stuff that's down there. And I think that's part of what people object to, is all the stuff that basically, and I don't mean to, again, don't mean to sound, but I don't know any other words. The disposable things, you know, balloons, the flowers, you know, the paper stuff, those are things that aren't really very permanent. And I don't know any other way to put it, but they're not. You know, that's the stuff that needs to not be there, at least for now. And we'll go forward from there. Like I said, we need to research it. I don't know the rules, the laws. This stuff just came up over the weekend till today. So we're going to take some time to look at it. And the one thing that I want to do is to make sure that it's done correctly so that everybody is satisfied. I don't want a knee-jerk reaction to the whole thing and say, this is what we're going to do. But we need to scale it back, not just for you guys, but for the neighbors as well. That's all we're asking at this point.
Is it the neighbors that own the property, the fishing?
Like the waterfront area that you know of?
Well, there's several properties that abut that. Some of it goes under the creek, literally, you know, under the creek. There's property on both sides that own. I mean, without maps in front of me, I can't point out to you who's first to that. So.
Can we offer to buy it?
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, can we offer to like buy that top part and buy it?
The top part is the town. The flat part is the town. We're gonna go over the edge, and that's a possibility too. I don't know.
Is there a way to look into that?
Declare it excess property and put it up for auction. I mean, you know, there's a lot of, that's why I say, I don't want a knee-jerk reaction and say, this is what we're gonna do. Let us do some research into it. We've been trying to be good about it for the last couple of years, and, you know, okay, well, it's coming to a head with the neighbors, so, all right, we're gonna have to do something, that's all. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I guess if nobody else wishes to address the board, we'll close the public forum portion of the meeting. Yeah.
One last question, I'm sorry, well, to address you guys.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
So, this Saturday is just 2 years of that thing, so does that mean we cannot be there?
Nobody's saying you can't be there.
But we can scale it down and.
Yeah, don't make a mess. I mean, you know, treat it with respect and.
Which we do.
We'll be,
Well, you're asked the question, I'm just telling you, let's treat it with respect, and please respect the neighbors. I understand that you have had a loss as well, but you don't know what I've been through, you don't know what they've been through. This may be rubbing an awful lot of salt in a wound for them. I don't know.
It's understandable.
So just be decent about it, and when dark comes, when dusk falls, everybody needs to be out of there. That's just the park rules anyway, so.
We can do that.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
So we know, and we know if it's Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
And we know, so if the neighbors call, we can say, yes, we were aware that people were going to be there and so forth. That this is the kind of communication that we need to have, so that we're not, like as I say, we're not caught flat-footed and blindsided by it, so.
Okay, I will do
Alright.
that. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you have one of the questions, the picture from 2021 that's on that board? Do you have
Is that a current picture there in upper right hand?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That was from his
No, that
birthday.
was from
This
a
was
month
from
ago.
The first
That's
of
not still there.
September.
It's still there.
All
Okay.
it is.
Do you have a photo that's current that someone could possibly meet with the code enforcement officer? And
You
she
can go
could-
take a picture of it.
I have the photos.
So could someone meet with you and you depict what needs to be scaled back?
Eric just already spoke about that, anything that's non-permanent. We have across there, we do have some, I think some photos or some flags nailed to the tree, that's fine. Just get rid of.
Like the rocks and stuff, or-
The rocks are fine,
Okay.
that's a natural, the rocks are fine.
Like empty, like
All the
cups or
balloons,
bo-
yeah, all the balloons, all that, because they are tending to deteriorate, and we do have complaints, which we have to take care of
Yeah.
the neighbors
we
too.
have to deal with
We
that?
understand, we're gonna go down right now and
Sure.
take care of all of it. Thank you guys so much for your
Okay,
time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
People complain about the ones.
All the solar lights?
No, if there's lights there, you can't have lights on.
like they're just like the solar sunlight.
Yeah, we can't have lights.
In ground, yeah, we took the ones that were hanging off last year, but the ones in, we have like a Christmas tree that has like LED lights around it. She said she'll look into it.
Yeah, we should look at it, but it needs to be off at night, because it's, you know, it's,
It's a distraction when people driving.
yeah.
Yeah.
We can do that. Thank you guys.
Let me see your piece of paper on it.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm just gonna put my. I don't remember you did like the, when we got it done on Church Road. Did you go to, years ago? Did you? Linda, in my house? I know, because you lived on Church Road. Yeah, yes, next to Victoria. Yeah, yeah.
She's like, it's my name.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Take care. Thank you. Thank you.
We really are, we really are.
Sorry, Chris. Thanks, man. Have a good night. You guys have a good night.
Take care, guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Almost. All right, let's finish up the meeting. Requesting town board resolution to approve the regular town board meeting minutes of September 13th, 2021.
Baxter.
Yes.
Vogel. Robot.
Yes.
Jaeger. Peters.
Yes. Requesting town board resolution to approve payment of bills from their respective funds.
Second.
Baxter.
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Robot.
Yes.
Jaeger.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes. Requesting town board resolution as follows. Whereas the county owns, operates, and maintains parks in the towns and villages in the county. And whereas the 2021 Monroe County Shared Services Plan adopted pursuant to General Municipal Law 239-BB included sharing resources between municipalities and/or jointly procure comments to provide programming, facilities, and administration of parks and recreation across municipal boundaries. And whereas pursuant to Resolution 196 of 2021, the Monroe County Legislature authorized this agreement to share recreation programs and park services with towns and villages in the county. Therefore, the Town of Hamlin Town Board authorizes this agreement to share recreation programs and park services with the County of Monroe and authorizes the supervisor to execute the agreement.
So moved. Second.
Baxter?
Yes.
Polko?
Yes.
Robot?
Yes.
Jaeger?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes. Requesting Town Board resolution to authorize the Highway Department to install 425 feet of 6 feet tall chain link fence and gate for the purpose of enclosing the stockpile area at 91 Railroad Avenue. Material and labor to be provided by not Steve's Fence, but Speed Fence Company for the sum of $12,200, who is the lowest of 3 quotes. Funds to be used from account AA5132.4.
So moved. Second.
Quick question about this, Mike, like you won't be moving it once you come up with a long-term solution that you know, like this is where the fence is gonna be, it's not,
Yeah.
nothing will be changed.
Fingers crossed. Baxter?
Yes.
Polko?
Yes.
Robot?
Yes.
Jaeger?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes. Requesting Town Board resolution for the following budget transfer related to the previous motion from general account 1990.4 contingent budget to account 5132.4 highway garage expense in the amount of $12,200.
Second.
Baxter?
Yes.
Polko?
Yes.
Robot?
Yes.
Jaeger?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes. The only other thing to talk to you about Rose Circle is on the 28th, I did not realize that there was a conflict with another committee meeting. It's up to you guys whether you want to just postpone the 28th meeting for budget workshop and continue with the other dates, or not go to the other committee meeting and
That doesn't make any, I mean, typically we don't use all 6 dates, right?
no, typically we don't, no.
We set aside 6. So-
Yeah, right, yeah, that's what I said.
So could we do Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah,
the
and then the
29th
following-
and 30th? And we
yeah.
need to come.
That's fine.
So I'll make a motion to remove the 28th, to cancel the 28th budget workshop and maintain the dates that we had previous. November. The 28th workshop, which should be canceled, and maintain the 29th, 30th, and October 5th, 6th, and 7th, yeah.
We're starting on the 29th.
5th, 6th, and 7th, yeah. Okay. Favor?
Thank you.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Motion carried. That's all I have for this evening.
No further business, I make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor? No one dares be opposed to that. Thank you, everyone.
I was gonna bring my, I was gonna.
No, it's a tough one.
I didn't know that bad, that could've gone worse.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, you can tell them, you don't want to.
It's down at the bottom.